Welcome back to Sunrise. And of course, it's been a month already, Yomi, of this new tax law, implementation of the new tax regime in Nigeria. And so we want to find out how it's been.
All of the fears.
All of the fears. I wish we had regular people to talk to. But
1 million naira be taxed? Will I pay for this? But I've seen regularly now, if I do transfer, I see the stamp duty. I get that, like 100 naira. And then there's the 50 naira, there's the, all of those things. But I'm not sure that's the one that bothers a lot of Nigerians more. So let's
all right. So we have Bengadio, a chartered accountant, tax expert, arbitrator, business lawyer, and what have you. So you know that by the list of things that we've listed out, he's able to answer a lot of questions. He joins us virtually on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here again. Happy New Year.
Well,
yes,
we'll find out how happy the year has been. This is the 31st of January. We're talking about this tax law. It's the 31st of the month. Right, it's the 31st of the month, and there were a lot of fears by January 1, in fact from December, on how the new tax regime would be. I know the taxman has been trying a lot to talk about, to assuage people's fears, to say, no, this is how it's going to be. It's going to, how do I put it? This is how it works. That's the
nobody's going to
regular, it's the rich that should be afraid, really, not the regular Nigerians, that nobody will tax. You won't tax school fees, you won't tax all those things. So, but in your experience and with the implementation ongoing so far, what can you say about it? This is January 31 already, yeah.
Well, so many people, they are actually afraid of what they should not be afraid of, in the sense that the new tax regime affects the rich more. And many of the rich people, they are not likely to pay their taxes in January because they are under what we call direct assessment. But the salary earners, they've started enjoying the benefit of the new tax law. So if you earn 1.3 million naira a year, which is a little above 100,000 a month, in the year 2025, and you're given rent allowance of 500, which is the threshold, in January, your tax came to zero. So that's a great benefit. A number of people in that category around the country, they didn't see tax deducted in their salary. And so most companies have paid salary of January. And so they found out that taxes were not deducted. If you're within that range of 1.3 million a year, after granting rent allowance of 500,000, you have 800,000 left, and the percentage is zero. So that's been the case for personal income tax. Those that affect companies, they are not going to have effect now, because until you finish the preparation of financial statement, audited financial statement, you are not going to know what your profit is. Also, the Nigerian Revenue Service is not going to know what your total revenue is for 2025. And so that has a deadline of June 30 before we can say it becomes late. So people can wait. It's not easy to quickly complete financial statement. So we have not seen too much of the effect around, except for the tax collection agencies trying to set up a new system, changing their letterhead, changing what's on the website. It's on the cost side so far. And I believe they have also changed the calculation method in their programming in the system, such that the new law will now apply. But we still have challenges with local governments. The state government need to caution local governments We have a lot of problems. They serve people all sorts of letters. In fact, local government are serving one demand notice around now through some agent. They say corporate social responsibility, this one and that one. All of these are part of the nuisance taxes that we ought to get rid of. I do not expect in the year 2026 that we still have such pressure when state government have taken care of land use charge. Local government need to sit down and stop all of these letters flying around. We've seen a number of clients sending to our offices demand notice, corporate social responsibility, all sorts of names. This need to stop. So at the federal government level, they're trying their best to make sure that the Nigerian Revenue Services is up to date, but state government need to do a lot with their local government under them.
Okay. So far, you've given us a brief progress in terms of how it has gone this month. But of course, we still have the controversy about the one that was passed or the one that was not passed. They are trying to sort that at the National Assembly level. Let's talk about people who still had that concern. I'm sure you heard, if you're sending this money, make sure you label it or you add a narration so that you are not taxed based on what you have sent. Tell us more about those who, yes, would be taxed, for what and how.
Okay, so when it comes to transaction in the bank account, there is no tax authority that is going to impose any tax on anybody. There's no law that permits anybody to now say, I look at your bank statement and therefore I'm giving you an assessment. No, that doesn't work that way, because it's not every money that comes into bank account that constitutes income. You can have contribution, family contribution. You may be doing renovation on behalf of your family. Somebody abroad can send you money. Please help me pay school fees of my daughter or son. So it's all fallacy all around the country. That, and then they are mentioning Tinubu. Tinubu, this is healthcare support. Tinubu, this is gift. No, as a matter of fact, personal income tax has nothing to do with the federal government. The only people that pay to federal government are the Nigerian police, those that are, under the control of the federal government. Every other taxes that is paid by individuals, it goes to state government. And so state government do not have time. They don't even have resources to now leave their job and begin to look after your bank account. They don't even have such assets. Now, the only time that bank account can be looked into is when we notice that you file your returns for the year, for example, 2025 returns, and then you claim that your income in 2025 is 5 million naira, for which the state internal revenue gives you an assessment of tax that is less than 1 million to pay. And then they now discover that you that claim you earned 5 million in 2025, record shows from the licensing office that you bought an LX 600 Lexus for over 100 million. You also bought a G-Wagon of 500 million. You move into a new mansion at Banana Island, and that building cost about 2 billion. And so they will now ask you to bring your bank statement because doubt has set in. But this is not in all cases. This affects generally the wealthy people. And so that's where bank account comes in. It comes in when doubt arises. And so they now begin to ask you questions. Sir, you just registered LX 600 in October 2025. Your birthday came up in July you bought a brand new G-Wagon, and we look at the value in the US, in Germany, and it came to about 700 million. You move to a house at number XYZ. You know, the state government have details of approved plans. So how can you justify how you possess all of this and yet your income remain as 5 million? Then you can then say, oh, that house in Banana Island was not built by me. It was built by my children. They gave me as my birthday gift and they pay their taxes. Oh, fantastic. They do that thing and leave you alone. A G-Wagon was registered in your name, sir, during your birthday. Oh, that G-Wagon was given to me by my classmates because they thought of what I've done for them. So they check, they leave you alone. All right? The LX600 that you bought, what happened? Oh, it was a gift given to me by so person. Maybe it's Aliko Dangote that gave you, and Aliko Dangote has paid his taxes. Then they ask you, so you are free to go.
So
We just want to
sorry,
know.
before you go on, the government will have to check with all of these people or all of the names or.
There is a way to check.
Okay.
There is a way to check when they look at chassis number and all the details about the vehicle. They know the importer. They know who the dealer that brought it in, and they know who paid the dealer to get it. You know, the shipment and everything. It doesn't. The whole thing is synchronized now, so you can actually check easily. And then even when they run there is a software that is in the Nigerian Revenue Service. They call it McKinsey Bank Data before. When you check, we can just check names and say payment of 5 million and above from so person. Then they will now see, oh, this person paid so at so time. They're going to leave you alone. Sometimes they may not even call you to ask this question. They could verify. It is after they verify that you were the one that actually paid for the car, you were the one that paid for the construction. Then they now say, sir, can we have your bank statement? Then you start seeing people saying, no. I cannot give you my bank statement. That is an invasion of my privacy. And then the tax authority will say, oh, under the law, we have a right to ask questions when we are in doubt. But if you are genuine, if you are honest, you will send the bank statement to them immediately without fear.
Right. And, what's your assessment of the new tax regime's impact on medium-sized enterprises? We've been talking about individuals now, and, specifically regarding their capacity to create jobs vis-a-vis, fall under the tax burden. How has this been for them?
Honestly, the impact is not going to show now yet. But it's going to happen when people complete their audited financial statement and they fall within the threshold of small and medium enterprises where exemption on 100 million will be applicable to you. The area the government needs to work, especially the Nigerian Revenue Service, is how do you determine that someone earns 100 million in 2026 by January? You cannot know this. So what method are you going to put in place if someone has paid VAT in January up to November, and then by end of the year, you find out that the company's income is within the threshold of less than 100 million, which is exempted from VAT, and the person has already paid? Or you are going to divide 100 million by 12 and say, so if you earn 8,888,333, you will be exempted from paying VAT every month. How are you going to do that? Because it's going to be difficult for you to know if I'm going to earn 100 million at the end of the year, this January. So there are still some areas where programming language need to be inserted into the system on tax pro max so as to determine how to exclude these people or exempt them from paying VAT. But for annual tax, profit tax, which is based on 100 million a year that you are going to be exempted from, that happens at the end of the balance sheet date. And that's going to happen from January, February, March, April. Deadline is June. So small and medium scale enterprises would then become happy that we are not going to pay company income tax. We have development levy of 4%, and we're going to exempt them also from all of this. But that you will not know until your result is out. So, but by and large, when you find yourself within this threshold, it means that the money you've been giving to government in terms of company income tax before, you can then channel it towards, increasing your capacity and indirectly increasing the number of people you can employ.
Okay. Mr. Adeoye, just before we go, we have this question from our viewer, one of our viewers, Festus Akinboyewa. He wants to know if diaspora Nigerians who invest in Nigeria's government treasury bills, whether they will pay tax on the interest under the new tax law. He wants to know that. Quickly, please.
So there are provisions on exemptions when you earn money in Nigeria. The tax law says money that is derived or brought into the system. Taxes are imposed on interest by the bank. Now, if you invest in Nigeria banks, what government does before is to regard the withholding tax that bank takes from your interest as they regard it as frank investment income. In other words, you don't pay any other tax after that. Now the government is now saying, no, let's not do that way. We aggregate all your income together in the year. We look at the one you earn from your investment, and then the taxes you have paid by way of direct deduction of withholding tax will now be considered to know what is left. However, on foreign investment, in the schedule to the Nigerian Tax Act, there is a provision for exemption for people who are investing in government bonds and treasury bills. And so they are going to be covered under those exemptions. But for every other investment you have with Nigerian banks, you will be subjected to withholding tax. Then they will now look at other income that they will aggregate it together and deduct what you have paid in direct deduction at source.
Right. We must thank you for your time again. Mr. Gbenga Adeoye, chartered accountant, tax expert, arbitrator, business lawyer. Thank you for answering those questions as we continue to navigate this new tax regime. It's just January 31, so a month into it. We have the rest of the year to go. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Make sure you declare your tax returns accurately so they don't ask for your bank statement.
Thank you. We will do.
Thank you indeed. And I think we'll be back in a moment. We have that segment where we'll talk about mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
You know, just distress. We'll be back.